This is a holster that came to me for some repair work. And what it is the belt loop has come detached. But as I'm looking at it, I noticed too the bottom one, the stitching in the bottom here has also come detached along this side. Normally on a holster like this, this is for the Fatman's Luger. Normally you don't want to do any more repair work than absolutely necessary, but I think this is going to be pretty necessary. If not now, it's not going to be long. So I'm going to repair both ends of this, and I'm going to leave it at that. The other belt loop seems to be attached pretty well. Most of the stitching looks to be in pretty decent shape as far as stitching goes. When you do a repair like this, you want to stay as authentic to the original as possible. You can't always do that because some of those materials just aren't made anymore. Fortunately, in my case, all the stitching was done with a linen thread, which I was able to find. It wasn't that hard to find apparently. So we're good on that. I'm going to go ahead and take the stitching out. I need to do it very carefully so as not to damage the leather itself. And then I'll be back. Alrighty, well, I got it out. Some of this kind of repair work is done, the original stitching was done by machine. The belt loop itself seems to be in pretty good shape. There's a little damage to the leather here behind the stitching, which I think is going to be okay. I'm pretty sure that'll be fine. So I'm just going to start reattaching the belt loop, and some of the work is done with something like this. Now the needle that I have for this stitching awl appears to be a bit on the large side, so I don't want to use this. So it appears that it's just a standard saddle stitch, is what it looks like to me. So what I'm going to do is just use a regular needle. There isn't much else you can do. I'm going to go ahead. Now this, when you buy a linen thread, it's not waxed or anything, so you have to wax it yourself. Trying to stay authentic to the time period, would have been done with just beeswax. To wax it, you just run her through there a bit. Now waxing it is going to make it easier to pull through the holes and help to preserve the thread. And my beeswax was given to me by a friend of mine, and yeah, it came straight from the hive. Not processed, which again would have been authentic to the time period. So I'm just going to thread my needles, and I can't do these like I normally would, where I'd poke the thread back or the needle back through. So I'm just going to leave it bent over. And there we go. Obviously, being that the belt loop is this way, we're going to start with the top, and then we'll attach the bottom. The bottom is going to be tricky because it's down here in the holster, so I may have to dig out a curved needle for that. But for the top, Should be pretty easy. We will need a pliers to help us out here. Now when I look at some of the spots on the old stitching, you probably are not going to be able to see this, how they really got some funky stuff going on here. So I don't know if I can force myself to do anything funky. We'll see what happens here. It should come out pretty well. And I don't think I'm going to make you sit through the slow process of stitching this. Just keep in mind, work like this is not for the faint of heart, I guess you'd say. Now I've got a few years of leather work under my belt, and I've got a lot of years of sewing under my belt. So, and I have a lot of resources to consult with, so that I can get the job done. And it never hurts. You got to have some kind of resources to go back to. There's not a lot of people left in the country that do repair work on stuff like this, and if they do, they're not advertising it. So anyway, I'm going to keep going here, and I'll get back when I get the top part done. Well, came out pretty good. I wish I could duplicate the patina, but it shouldn't take long, and that patina will match the rest. Did figure out how to get the funkiness on the inside there, the way they did their stitch, and so I just kind of duplicated it. Now off to the bottom, which is going to be significantly more challenging. I might have to actually make a needle, which is kind of a new thing for everybody, huh? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a needle that I already have, and I should have saved some of my broken needles, huh? I'm gonna cut it off and round off the tip. I'll use a file and some really super fine sandpaper, and we'll get that down there. I'm gonna have to do 2 of them, so I'll have to figure out how I'm gonna do that. I'll be back. Alrighty. Well, what I wound up doing was bending a couple of needles instead of shortening them. This one did break right here at the eyelet, but it broke on my last stitch, so I was happy that I made it through what I did. We'll pitch that one. This one hasn't broken yet, so I'll hang on to it. Other than that, there's what it came out like. I did manage to get a little patina on there, using a little dark brown dye, and it seems to have penetrated nicely. You know, some things you can only replace with age anyway. So hopefully it'll get used a little bit, and that will patina up very nicely. But there you go. So, Fatman, I hope you're happy. I will get this shipped back to you next week, and be a little swag in there too. YouTube, thanks for watching. Thanks again to all the new subscribers. We'll make this a little quick contest update, since today is the last day, midnight tonight. Response has been great. I've got almost 30 VRs, so I'm really happy with that. I was hoping I'd have more PMs from some of the folks that don't do videos, but we're still good. Anyway, y'all stay safe. God bless, and I'll get with you in the next video. Thanks for watching.